we did not come up with anything exciting to watch tonight.
But I am wearing my Martini Mama shirt, which you can't see because I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but that's fine.
Because it's not 80 degrees.
I'm disappointed in you, Wisconsin summer weather.
Are you?
I'm disappointed.
Can you be disappointed without being surprised? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Then I'm that.
Yes.
Of course, I'm still, like, not in the summer mindset. Like, we've had a few warm days, and that's great. I can't wait for it to be regular, and then I'm like, wait, it's past the summer solstice already. Shit. It's not going to get better. This is it.
July and August can get hot.
So can May.
It is my birthday week. Do not destroy my spirit, you animal. You do that with creepy grin and just no.
Love you.
So, B. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
B. I separated it. Why did autocorrect accept Brooklyn? But it won't let me write things like perps. I hate autocorrect.
I'm looking a little gray right now.
It's your birthday week.
Shut up.
Oopsie.
I hate you.
I know.
Anyway, Season 2, Episode 11, Stakeout. Open on some kind of ceremony, Holt is happy. The drug task force was a success, and Wunsch has to put a medal on Holt. Holt is working on his trash talking, which is... What was it?
Lunchtime is over.
Lunchtime is over.
You see, it's funny because it sounds like lunchtime is over, but it's a play on her.
And Rosa and Jake are like, no. It took you all night to come up with that, singer? So Jake tells Holt to say nothing. He almost holds out, but fails. No regrets.
Yeah, Jake's like, play the high road. It'll be more devastating. And Holt's like, yes, that's good. But he ends up delivering the line anyway after holding out initially. Very funny.
Post-credits, back at the precinct, the squad needs to stake out the mob. It's an 8-day op. Jake and Boyle volunteer for all 8 days.
Yeah, the squad keeps telling them it should be 2 people for the first 4 days and 2 people for the second 4 days. That's, standard procedure. But Jake and Boyle are like, no, we're friends. We never fight. We got this. Bad call.
Yes. I'm married. Can relate.
Oof. It hurts. It hurts here.
I love you. But the chewing hurts here. And the snoring hurts here. I love you.
At least I chew with my mouth closed.
You do. Just really loudly. I'm sure I do things that annoy you. You can say it. I put things out in the open.
I'm good.
So either you're not saying something because you want to be the bigger man, or I don't annoy you. It's probably the fact that I'm constantly saying, huh? What'd you say? I can't help that,
This video has turned into a marriage counseling video. A how-to, if you will. This is how marriages work.
We'll have a discussion later. So they have a theme song. Stake me
Out
out tonight.
I don't want to let you go till we catch this guy. And Boyle makes it his alarm tone so that every time they switch shifts, that's what plays. I love their friendship. I honestly do.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jamie, Gina and Amy catch
Now called Jamie.
catch Terry drawing a picture book for his girls. He drew the whole squad into it. At the stakeout, Boyle brought horrible exotic food, and Jake and Boyle assert they don't need separation despite the others' advice. At the precinct, Holt brings his nephew. Rosa makes eyes at him because he's Michael B. Jordan.
I mean, how could you not, right?
Gina outs her. You wrote puts.
Thank you for translating.
Holt looks mortified. After the first sleep shift, Boyle is wearing a sleep apnea mask. Jake got some boys on the perp. Eyes on the perps.
Dude, I told you. Autocorrect was fucking killing me. I typed it correctly and it translated to that. But it couldn't get Brooklyn. No.
The first annoyance. Boyle chews with his mouth open because it's a foodie thing.
Yeah, it aerates the food. It's like wine tasting, is what he says.
Ew. But they refuse to separate. Oh, but then Boyle's issue with Jake is that he eats butter syrup.
Right. Literally pancakes with syrup, but he just eats a slab of butter dipped in syrup.
I used to dip saltines into butter. I get it.
I used to lick the butter wrapper.
Now I'm thinking Bob and Brian.
Yeah,
The butter-eating clan.
At least, I'm not our kids who, like Bob, or was it Brian, took a stick of butter and just eat it like candy bar.
So they refuse to separate. Next shift, they're both up. They come up with a no-no list. Holt calls Rosa into his office. Marcus asks Holt if she's single. Meanwhile, Amy and Gina read Terry's book and don't like how they're portrayed.
So yeah, they feel like the characters that are drawn like the members of the squad reflect the squad's personality.
So they reverse roles. Annoyance number 2, rhyming. Not on the no-no list, so Jake adds it. They start adding a bunch of stuff. Day 5, no yoga, no beatboxing, no sister act. They're going nuts adding things, so the list is huge now. Finally, they come to no talking. It's only night 6. Holt calls. He offers a relief team. They lie and say they're fine. At the precinct, Terry confronts Amy and Gina over their weird behavior. At Holt's house, he sees Marcus and Rosa both doing the walk of shame. Rosa says they shouldn't see each other again. Meanwhile, Jake and Boyle argue about the list. They declare they aren't friends, and they break their stakeout window and get made. Yeah. After the stakeout, at the precinct, it's obvious they're mad at each other. Holt tells Jake and Boyle to find the perps after they bailed.
Right, so the stakeout was a failure because Boyle threw a basketball at Jake and it broke the window, and the perps saw the window get broken. They realized they were being staked out, so they all bailed. So now Holt's like, you gotta fix this. Jake and Boyle...
Door duty.
Yeah, door duty. Go find the perps.
Amy admits to Terry that the book character bothered her because she saw herself in it. Holt meets with Rosa, gives her her bra back, and hopes they can keep dating if they want. Marcus and Gina. Or Rosa. Not.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway. Great seeing them both be awkward. Boyle and Jake...
Holt and Rosa being stoic about this awkward situation was fun to watch.
Boyle and Jake find the perp and work well together to catch him. Brothers fight, but they're always there for each other. Episode 12, Beach House. Jake observes Holt has no pants on. Jake keeps trying to make Holt stand up. Holt admits it, and Jake spills soup on his pants too. Credit sequence. Jake announces the detective's only getaway. Hitchcock and Scully say nothing for fear of being uninvited. Smart.
There's a detective's only vacation day allotted every year. So they're all getting ready for that. Yeah. They go to a beach house. It's Loyal's ex-wife's beach house that he rents from her or something like that.
Well, they split it.
They split it.
In the divorce, yeah. Gina says she can't wait to see Six drink Amy, and goes through the litany of Amy after every drink. So, drink 1, Amy is spaced out. Drink 2, Amy is loud. Drink 3, Amy is dancy. Drink 4, Amy is
Horny.
Sexual. Mm-hmm. Drink 5, Amy is overly confident.
Yes, and she's like, I've never seen 6 drink Amy, and I'm hoping that's the one that I can be friends with. That's she calls it the unicorn? Oh, no, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
That's the Sasquatch.
Meanwhile, Marcus brings Rosa a phone charger before the getaway. It's cute. She hates Boyle for calling it out. Jake stays late doing paperwork before the getaway. Some growth from Jake. Mm-hmm. He asks Holt about his getaways in the day. Holt says he never had that experience because he was black and gay. One of the rules had been no bosses, and I give Jake so much credit. I know the rest of the squad was so pissed at him, and it got awkward, but I mean, the fact that he heard Holt's story about not ever getting to do that and just blow off steam and then invited him, like, I'm actually really, I don't know, again, it's a show, and so they have to play up the factor, but if it were real life, they'd all be like, oh, yeah, no, that was, like, the perfect idea.
I don't know. I mean, if he had presented it to them ahead of time, yes.
But he didn't know.
I get that. But, I mean, they weren't there for the conversation. They didn't have the emotional connection there. And when you're in no boss mode, and then the boss shows up, it's a real downer.
I get that, but given our woke culture, they would have completely understood when Jake was like, look, he never had this because he's gay and black. Which I don't agree. I mean, the gay thing I don't agree with, but at the same time, it's like, he was asked to be a caddy.
Right.
And that's not right.
No, I know.
And
again,
like, and again, I get this as satire.
Well, and again, the squad wasn't there for that conversation, and I'm sure they would understand, but it still wouldn't be the getaway that they are used to and we're looking forward to.
Fair.
You can't get drunk around your boss unless you're me throwing a Super Bowl party. And even then, I don't get all that drunk.
I'm just thinking of the time we went to the holiday gathering when I was at McGillis Weimer, and Ryan had, what was it?
4 martinis.
But he's the boss's brother.
Right.
That was hilarious.
So, amendment. You don't get drunk around a boss who's like Holt. Which,
yeah.
And I love my in-laws, but it's it's like when you have a get-together with the whole family, you know, or when my parents come to visit or something like that. Like, it's great, and we drink, and we party, and we have fun. But you're kind of waiting for the older folks to go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me.
That'll be our parents someday. Or that'll be our kids someday.
No, we're awesome.
The girls will never be eager for us to go to bed. We'll always stay up later than them. Right.
I mean, we smoke, so...
So we're automatically cool.
Yeah. Dude, I seriously look... whatever.
If I had any hair left, I would think maybe I looked gray.
Harsh, dude. Harsh.
I had to bring it up. It's too funny not to.
I hate you so much right now.
I love my haircut, but I only bring it up because you were so mortified. You may notice I have a haircut. Poor Leah. She was cutting my hair. Started by doing that and then went and ran away. And I was like...
I used the wrong...
You used the side cut size on the top. So I have a right and proper buzz cut. And I love it. I honestly do. I mean, does it bother you?
No, I'm just... I was pissed at myself. Anyway. Okay, at the getaway... Everyone goes over what they brought. Jake shows up with Holt. Rosa comes at Jake for it, but he felt bad. Amy's freaking out. She can't be drunk around Holt. Jake argues Terry is their boss, and he's there, but Terry says he's not their boss for that weekend. Rosa asks Boyle for relationship texting advice. Everyone's gossiping. Holt kills the vibe. Holt offers a toast, forcing Amy to drink. Holt proposes a walk, which they begrudgingly accept.
In the, 30-degree weather on the beach.
And I'm like, so then why did Terry bring sunscreen?
Maybe there was a heated sunroom or something. I don't know. I don't know California weather.
New York weather.
Oh, yeah. Why did I assume it was California?
It's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're in New York, you dummy.
You might be right.
See what I put up with? Three drinks. Amy tries dancing the cold away. Terry gives her another drink.
Right, because 3-drink Amy is dancing, Amy.
They all hot tub awkwardly. Amy starts getting weird with Rosa.
Right,
It's fun.
because 4-drink Amy is sexual.
Yep.
She's like, you can totally see through your shirt. Because Rosa only brought a bikini, and she's like, I can't wear a bikini around my boss, so she wore a shirt in the hot tub.
But it hides nothing. Then they smoke cigars awkwardly. Oh, it was fine. Like, they're, oh, yeah, it's cigars, cool. And then Holt tells the story about one of his partners who, died giving the finger.
He was the toughest man I ever knew, and he smoked cigars all the time. And they're like, all right, sounds great, tell us about this guy. And said, well, how'd he die? He says, he died from cancer of the tongue, cheek, throat. They're like, okay.
Yeah. And they're like, well, and Jake's like, well, at least he had the, middle finger salute. And Holt's like, no, it was like...
Nobody saw it. It was a closed casket because the surgeon had to remove so much of his face and mouth and throat. Like, oh, okay.
It's just like, dude, read the room.
Debbie Downer. That's what it is.
Yes. And now I'm thinking of that SNL skit.
So good.
It's so funny. Even Rachel Dratch was just like
starting to crack.
Bill Hader, of course.
It's official. I can't have children.
Vacation Terry teaches them the way. Separate parties, an awkward one with Holt and a fun one without him. Boyle keeps advising Rosa on texting. Meanwhile, the group establishes a shift system for Holt. Gina
Right,
gives...
like, all right, so we'll have a fun party downstairs without Holt, and we'll always have 4 people with Holt doing the Holt party. We'll keep the 2 things separate. We'll have a 20-minute shift. Always have somebody switching in and out.
Can relate.
Yep.
Super Bowl party.
Yep. That's how you do it. And it's honestly kind of a
Keep
good
my mom
system.
and grandpa upstairs, and my dad and your college buddies downstairs.
I love your dad. I love your mom too. I honestly do. But it's a different vibe. And you keep the vibe.
Because she needs to stay with grandpa.
Yes. And I love your grandpa too. I honestly do. I love talking to him.
I think he just kind of observes, and he's just like, okay.
And that's me too. Like, I love just people watching. I'm comfortable with that. I know where he's coming from. And I'm comfortable with him. But, I'm also comfortable with drinking and smoking and talking about dumb shit. So, you gotta be that chameleon. Read the room, like you said. Some people do it, and some people are the people you need to read the room for.
So Gina gives Amy another drink for her shift with Holt. 5-drink Amy is confident. So she asks Holt for a promotion and raise. You said Jake makes her 6-drink Amy, but really she took Jake's drink.
Okay, fair point.
Side story,
Well, no, because he was like, I don't think 5-drink Amy is good for Holt because you're asking for a raise. It's not working.
yeah, but she took the drink from him. Like, I think he poured it for himself.
Fair, but he's the one that said, okay, so he was gonna retire her, and she's like, okay, we'll just go to 6-drink Amy instead.
Side story about Hitchcock and Scully. They're trying to do a scheme where they want money to get a sunken casino ship up, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, they keep referring to, we can't have Hitchcock and Scully only being the ones to watch Holt because they're going to keep pitching this idea.
6-drink Amy is sad. And Gina is disappointed.
Poor Gina.
Holt discovers the second party. He is upset. They work on making it right. Rosa asks Boyle for help again. He says Rosa needs to do it herself, and it works.
Yeah, he's been advising Rosa throughout this episode on what to text
Marcus.
Because she's like, I'm bad at this whole texting thing. What do I do? So he's been advising her on, like, romantic texts and how to respond to certain
Kind of
things.
Cyrano de Bergerac sort of thing.
Sure, that was a very intellectual comparison. Absolutely.
That's Roxanne, right? Movie Roxanne.
Never saw it.
Guy with an ugly nose.
You're disappointed in me, and that's okay. Sure. So he's advising her. And it's working, but it's getting to the point where he's like, this has to come from you. And I don't know if I wrote anything for this. What I say?
Just that he says Rosa needs to do it herself. And it works.
Okay. Yeah. She says something about, well, I just want to tell him that I miss him and thinking about him.
And
And
crap.
he's like, and crap. He's like, well, drop the crap and yeah, you're good. Say that. And they send it and he's like, ... He sent a shirtless pic. You're in. And she's like, all right. Thank you for your help. Don't follow me. This is going to get intense. And she walks off, taking her shirt off.
So Gina talks to Amy. She cares for her. 6th drink Amy is super drunk. Learn to drink, Amy. Because Amy's like, 6th drink Amy is going to get sick now.
Yeah. And she's also like, but 6th drink Amy is your friend because you're caring for me. And Gina's clearly like, yes, but. But Gina does come through.
Yeah. Gives her water, not vodka, which I kind of thought it was vodka for a minute there.
Same. But once you get to that stage, you don't want 7 drink Amy. You got to recognize the stages, man.
Yeah. Jake meets Holt at the hot tub. Jake apologizes, but Holt cuts him off and apologizes instead. Jake tells Holt to stoop to their level. They play real or fake Ray, which is awesome.
Such a great scene.
Holt is into it. They smooth over the awkwardness so well in the show. They really do, because that could have gone in a unsatisfied direction, and they smooth it over so well, and they don't linger on the awkwardness. And
Right.
I love that.
And again, the show is shot in the vein of The Office and Parks and Rec. You know, almost like a documentary, watching these governmental bodies do their thing. But then this show does a great job of acknowledging the awkward, but smoothing it over so quickly that it doesn't get uncomfortable for the viewer.
They've never shown puke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had the whole thing with Amy, like, oh, I'm gonna be sick. And then when they went to the Holt game, Amy was just passed out on the couch.
I missed that.
Yeah, she was just...
But yeah, the awkwardness with Holt, they smoothed it over because they started playing, what was it called again?
Real Ray or fake Ray?
Real Ray or Fake Ray, where Jake says a line. He says, did Raymond Holt ever say this or not? And Holt is completely into it, and he's like, oh, I wouldn't have said that. And then Jake's like, you did say it. You said it to Terry's kids. He's like, ah.
And he gets down to their level because he realizes, like, because he's such a good boss, good person, like, he knows that that's what he has to do.
And he finds fun in it. He's not... It's not just that he's, like, stooping to their level. He actually finds the fun in it.
And the fact that Jake picked that game that allows the squad to kind of let loose some steam, but also includes Holt in a judgmental, non-demeaning way.
Yeah. And it really exemplifies the fact that Jake is the perfect counter to Holt's captain. He is exactly what Holt needs, and Holt is exactly what Jake needs.
Yes.
And
exactly.
Ultimately, that's what this show is about their development and their their interactions.
I mean, remember this season where it started where they were, in witness protection together?
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that one.
Yeah.
Season 3, is it?
4 or 5.
Is it that late? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, man, they're exactly what the other needs.
Yeah.
And it's a great development. The Jake and Holt relationship is a great development.
So we've got episode 13, Payback.
This is the last one, right?
Yep. All right. Let's power through here.
Mm-hmm.
Rosa asks Boyle for restaurant advice for Marcus's birthday. She likes the inmate's suggestion to go to the top of the Empire State Building. And then the inmate says, and then you can pee on everyone.
They're like, you ruined it.
Yeah. I love the opening sequences.
Yeah. They're very like Sunday comics. You know, if you're as old as we are, the Sunday comics always had 2 panels that were separate from the rest of the full-page comic because you never knew what the newspaper format was going to be. I read about this from Bill Watterson's book, 10th Anniversary, Calvin Hobbes, where...
It sounds like he's going to make a comeback.
There's been talk. I don't dare to be hopeful. But he wrote about this, that you wrote it because you didn't know what format your comic was going to end up taking on the Sunday panel, because the Sunday strips are, longer and in color and everything. So the first 2 panels are throwaways. And that's essentially what the first couple minutes of every Brooklyn Nine-Nine are. They're this throwaway gag that isn't necessary to the rest of the show, but might still be related to the rest of the episode.
So maybe Brooklyn Nine-Nine was, it started off as a potential Sunday comic.
It would work great as a comic strip. It actually would.
Because it gets, it recently came up on my Facebook memories. And it must have been a few years back because it was Curtis. You remember Curtis? The black kid, and
That rings a bell.
and it got real dark. Like his friend got shot or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I posted it on Facebook. I took a picture of the comic, and I was like, when did Curtis get so dark?
That's right. I lived for the daily funnies back in the day.
Oh yeah, me too.
Read every day.
Foxtrot and Calvin and Hobbes, and
I didn't have Calvin and Hobbes in my
Pickles
in my dailies.
and Crankshaft, but they all started getting pretty deep, for better or worse.
I was about to ask, did you ever read For Better or For Worse?
Yeah, because I remember there was one panel where it was like election season, and I think it was For Better or Worse. Well, it was like the dad voted Republican and the mom voted Democrat, and no, Baby Blues. It was Baby Blues. For Better or Worse.
I love Baby Blues, but continue.
I think it was Baby Blues that was like the dad voted Republican and the mom voted Democrat, and they're like, well, at least we balance each other out. But yeah, For Better or Worse. Oh, which one was that?
So, funny story about For Better or For Worse. Back in the late 90s, the oldest son in For Better or For Worse for maybe half a year, followed an eerily similar storyline to Mike's life. And so Mike wrote the author of For Better or Worse and was like, just a weird thing. Your character has been going through this, and this, and I at the exact same time went through this, and this, and it's been good to read along, and it's given me some comfort. And they had a couple letters back and forth, Mike and the author of For Better or For Worse.
Maybe it was that one and not Baby Blues. I can't remember.
They were both good. I enjoyed them both.
And then there was Zits.
Zits. I love to pretend that Zits was Calvin in his high school years.
Right?
I just... When Zits came out, it was I think it was after Calvin Hobbes ended.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to adopt you as my Calvin Hobbes in later years. And I just loved it. And then there was Rhymes with Orange, which was bizarre, but it was a nice replacement for...
Pearls for Spine.
Yeah, Pearls. Yeah, that one. Oh, man. I miss that.
But who actually liked Prince Valiant?
Yeah, that was the back page.
All right, so we got a little off topic.
Only slightly.
Post credits, Jake is fighting a vending machine.
Sure. He cut a dollar bill in half and attached it to a coupon to the other half, and he's trying to make it work.
And it doesn't work. So he asks Terry for $1 to get something out of the vending machine, and Terry kind of freaks out on him. He's like, no. You owe me so much money. And Jake's like, what, I owe you like $50 or $60? And Terry's like, no, you owe me $2,437. And Jake is like, oh, that's not right. So he wants to figure out why Terry's acting up.
Because he's been borrowing money from Terry for years. Why would you call the debt now?
Why do you hate me?
Seriously, that fire is like allergic to you.
It really is. Amy calls Holt partner because they're working a case together. Jake tells Terry he's going to pay him back, and he figured it out. He suspects Terry's wife is pregnant again. And he's right.
And he demands godfather duties because he's the one that convinced Terry not to get a vasectomy.
I love the very subtle pro-life references in this show.
Can't ignore him.
Even, like, when Jake and Amy got married.
Yeah.
And, I think it was this past season, actually. And they had this whole debate about whether to have a kid or not, and Jake didn't want to because at the end of the day, he was just worried he wouldn't be a good father because he didn't have good father.
Right.
But the pro-life subtleties are so prevalent.
They're there.
It almost makes me wonder if Hollywood is kind of...
The science is getting inignorable.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, people are talking about believe the science and everything like that, and it's like...
Well, yeah, exactly.
I saw on Twitter a biology teacher started going viral and started getting shared in pro-life circles because he was like, oh, so yesterday, a reporter asked the press secretary for Biden, does Joe Biden believe that a baby at 15 weeks is a human being? Or an unborn child at 15 weeks is a human being? And the press secretary said, if you're asking if he believes in the right of a woman to choose, he does. And people are jumping on her for that deflection. They're like, that's not what the reporter asked. Black reporter, by the way. A black woman. People are jumping all over it. And they're like, that wasn't the question. So a biology teacher put out a video and was like, here's why they aren't answering that question, and here why they will never answer that question. It's because, according to the scientific community, life begins at conception.
It absolutely does. Like, you cannot deny that anymore.
So they will never answer that question because it implies certain necessary truths. So it will always be a deflection. The scientific community is absolutely leaning pro-life.
The liberal scientific community has already acknowledged that it's life.
Yeah.
They just don't think it's murder for some fucked up reason.
They're getting to the point that they have to. They're going to have to start arguing for the ending of life. And that's why they've started arguing for the case of what's the terminology they use? Merciful end of life. Because they need to establish that it's okay to kill a living person. Because their hand has been forced. They know it's life. They need to find a way to justify it. So they're going in a eugenics direction.
Oh, if your kid is Down syndrome.
Right, and states are starting to abolish abortion on the grounds of Down syndrome.
Thank God.
Yes, thank the Lord.
Yeah, I didn't mean that, no.
I know you didn't, and that's why I reiterated it. So yeah, lines are being very much drawn.
Because there are Down syndrome people who have been speaking out about this.
Yeah.
And there are Down syndrome people who have Down syndrome who have been making names for themselves in fashion, in politics, in movies and shows, and you know that you can't do this anymore. And Down syndrome people have actually gone to Senate hearings and have said,
Hi.
I am a person, you assholes. Like, I didn't say that, but that's
because people with Down syndrome tend to be nice. But yeah, it's been real interesting to watch, and the political loopholes and gymnastics that people are doing, they're starting to wear thin.
I mean, even Trisomy 18, where it's like, well, your kid is going to die anyway, so you might as well just abort. And then they've had the kid, and guess what? The kid's been fine.
You know what happened?
It was a misdiagnosis in utero.
And you know what happened a couple days ago? The youngest baby to ever have been born, a child that was born at 21 weeks, just celebrated his first birthday. So,
Huh.
yeah. And I don't want that to be the line. You know, I don't want to have to have somebody birth a, 1 week old and have it survive for people to realize you can't abort a 1 week old baby, a 1 week old unborn baby. But medical science, oddly enough, keeps pushing the boundaries for the abortion debate. And I kind of love it.
Anyway, where were we?
I don't know. We're pro-life, if you didn't know. And pro-science.
So, yeah, Jake tells Terry he's going to pay him back and figured it out. He suspects Terry's wife is pregnant again. Terry says he's right. Meanwhile, in Holt's office, he says he figured out his and Amy's case already. She wants to drag it out. Jake pays Terry $1,200, the first installment. He wants to be the godfather. Terry says he will consider... He says if Jake can keep it quiet for 4 weeks, Terry will consider it. Suddenly, the squad shows up, suspicious. Now Jake has to pay everyone he owes money back.
To not make them suspicious about why he's paying Terry back.
Yeah. Jake owes Boyle $4,009, owes Gina $710, owes Rosa $832.15.
Seems specific, but okay.
Jake offers to work off his debt to everyone. Amy and Holt meet for coffee. She wants to talk. He offers nutrition bricks, but agrees to street meat. Jake is working off his debts. Terry apologizes that he has to do it. He had to call Gina's family and tell them she died. He had to massage Scully. Now he has to wash Boyle's dogs, who are super horny. Amy and Holt bond over street meat. They discuss his old case, but then they think they see the perp, but it turns out the perp is dead. Suddenly, potty emergency. But the other way, which I, totally had this morning when I was out for my walk, and I related so hard. At the precinct, Jake accidentally emails everyone the secret. He asks the squad to keep it secret. They need to break into his email to delete it. Holt is upset about the tainted meat. Jake meets Terry at the gym while the squad hires the IT guy to break into Terry's email. Joe, IT guy rant.
Yeah, so number A, an IT guy doesn't need to break into an employee's email. He can reset his password at any time and access it if need be.
Especially for a police precinct.
B, he would never do so, nor break into somebody's email, because, especially in a police precinct that's super classified, you don't do that. Like, not only is it not necessary, it's completely in
Unethical. Unethical?
Completely unethical and, against your job, which is partially to maintain IT security. Holy shit, everything about that was wrong. Continue.
Jake demands Terry works him out to buy time. Boyle guesses Terry's password, yogurt. More IT ranting.
Yeah, because you would
Terry
not...
loves yogurt.
Yeah. And in a police precinct, you can't have your domain password be a single word in lowercase letters. Oh my gosh. Holy shit, that does not work. 12 characters with special characters and not a dictionary word there are bots to break that. You are a police sergeant. No, that is not a thing. Even whenever this episode came out. No.
I will break you. I did it. Holt blows the cover after everything had gone so perfect. Terry is pissed at Jake. Meanwhile, Amy apologizes to Holt. Holt says bad experiences are good for partnerships. Meanwhile, Jake pays up and apologizes to Terry. Jake sold his precious car to get the rest of the money. Terry asks Jake to be the godfather. Jake is terrified at godfathering duties. They talk about the godfathering duties. I'm like, that's not what a godfather is. No, Jake is not going to have to raise the child as a godfather. Godfather is one who will help bring up the child in the chosen faith. Jake is Jewish. Terry, probably not. Bothers me. But whatever. Fine. So I give Alicia and Nick a lot of credit for not getting pissed at us for not asking them to be godfather or godmother to our children, because they understand it is faith-based.
Sure.
Now, I would have no qualms. Okay. First caveat. If they convert to Catholicism, 100%.
Sure.
Would absolutely ask them to be the godparents. If we have another child, you can have a godparent of another denomination,
as long as one of them is of your is
and
Catholic.
I would be 100% on board with having Alicia be our godmother for our children, provided that we have a Catholic godfather. So the next child, I might say Ben be the godfather again, and Alicia be the godmother.
It's assuming we don't get Nick and Alicia first.
It's a hard road.
It's a hard road.
I think we're breaking Nick down.
I feel like we're going to get Nick before we get Alicia.
Oh, yeah.
Because Alicia keeps getting pregnant, so she's not there for in-depth theological conversations at 2 a.m. I'm okay with it, that she keeps getting pregnant. It's okay.
Well, but even after she had Carson, before she got pregnant this time, like, she is, like, not.
Regardless.
She's the one that gets up with Carson. And
Right. Hey, man, we'll get him someday.
And I would love it.
Oh, yeah.
But given my age, don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, that's the end.
Oh, okay. Good times.
Good times.
Long video.
Yeah. That's 3 episodes, so.
Yeah.